Lost Records Bloom & Rage ended on a cliffhanger with a lot of unanswered questions, one being if there will be another game. In this video, I'm going to discuss the possibility of a second game and what I think it's about. If you haven't played the game yet, I highly recommend that you do or watch my playthrough, as this video will contain all spoilers for Tape 1 and 2 of Lost Records Bloom & Rage. Now, let's jump into my theory. Regardless of which ending you get, it all ends with Kat and Corey being consumed by the Abyss in some way. This also leads Swan to eventually going back to the Abyss, with Kat calling out to her to come find her. As Swan enters the Abyss, the game ends. It was seemingly hinted by DONTNOD that they were planning on continuing this game as a series, with Tape 3 to 6. In an interview during Gamescom 2024, you can see a box in the background which reads Tape 3 to 6. It's obvious that Swan is going to try and find Kat, but what about the Abyss itself? This entire game has shown how powerful the Abyss actually is, and given how Kat and Corey have been stuck in the Abyss for 27 years, how does Swan expect to get her out, let alone herself? In my previous theory video, I mentioned the shadow people that show up throughout the game. They specifically show up during important events in the game. The shadows appear to be of Corey and Kat, as they both end up in the Abyss. However, before the girls open the box, if you look out the window, you can see 3 shadows appear, one of them being Kat, one of them being Corey, and one seemingly as Swan, specifically adult Swan, meaning she was claimed by the Abyss, which pairs with the post-credit scene. But what does this mean? I strongly believe the Abyss is able to manipulate time, whether that's whoever is consumed by it is standing still or is able to go back and make changes. It's clear things aren't linear. My first clue was the anomaly tape Swan films, Kat acting strange around the Abyss, and the fact that she seems to act like she's done certain things before. If you want an in-depth explanation, please check out my previous theory video as I explain it there. When Swan opens the box, there were items in there that shouldn't be there. At first I thought maybe it was Dylan who helped, but that didn't make sense either. She has no idea about their lock password, and more importantly, some of the items were either taken by the Abyss, like Swan's camera, or burnt down in the cabin, like Kat's knife. If time manipulation is the key theme going forward, there are multiple possible ways the next tapes can go down. What happens to Swan? What happened to all the missing people? Or the origin of the Abyss? Aside from finding Kat, I feel like there is more to the story that expands beyond the girls. Something that has been bothering me ever since I finished Tape 2, and it was when Kat mentions she's been having strange dreams.
It smells like the Abyss.
I haven't told you, but I've been having the weirdest dreams about that place. But like, from a long time ago. I think there were like, witches? And maybe I was one too?
It's not a secret there is a lot of witchcraft themes within the game, whether it's Kat's blood pact, the symbolism, the curse, or even items you can find throughout the game. I couldn't help but feel like maybe the next one will focus on the origin of the Abyss, but more specifically about a girl named Celine. There isn't much known about her, but it is presumed that she is the original owner of the cabin and lived in it. There's also a book in the cabin which Swan can find with the words, "If you have found this, freedom lies inside," written on the first page, and on the other page it reads, "Nature great, universal, and common, all, everywhere, innumerable and one, that from you I have opened. What in these mons was closed and covered." This is a quote, and I'm very sorry about the pronunciation of this because I'm about to butcher it. Jacques Piété du Mond's poem La Savoie, published in 1572 in France, and is dedicated to Marguerite de France. The poem is based on the Savoie, a region in France near the Annecy and Geneva, Switzerland. It is meant to describe the relationship between nature and man. Now let's look at Velvet Cove itself. Velvet Cove is a fictional town located in the county of Kewanee, Michigan. Michigan has a history of witchcraft and the supernatural in real life. There's one town that seems kinda similar to Velvet Cove, and that's Pear Ashani. Parashani was settled in the 1870s and was declared a ghost town by 1918. One local legend explains how a witch, in her rage and sorrow, cursed the village after being banished into the woods, which is to believe why there were mass outbreaks of disease in the area. Another local legend is said that a woman was accused of witchcraft and hung from a tree. Her sorrow and rage haunts the cemetery there. Sounds a little familiar, doesn't it? The cabin the girls find out in the woods where no one goes to, they manage to find this cabin after experiencing something bad with Corey, which then leads them to the abyss. Their rage fuels the curse and leads them to creating the blood pack. Going back to Celine, since there's very little information on her, I'm just going off of speculation. But Kat saying she was having dreams of being a witch from another time, where the cabin and the abyss are located, makes me think Celine may be the connection between Kat and the abyss. The real reason as to why the abyss is there in the first place, how it explains the weird anomaly tape Swan filmed, and the strange things that surround Kat to begin with. Why Kat was so adamant about using a blood curse. Throughout my playthrough, it seemed like Kat was turning into someone she's not. A lot of her anger stems from her cancer, the fact that she's trapped and cannot live the rest of her life the way she wants. Corey added fuel to her anger as she wanted to protect her sister from him. But what if there's something more to this? When Kat gets hypnotized by the abyss, I can't help but feel like it's not her talking. Not her exactly. Her anger is there and it is real, especially against Corey, but what if it's Celine talking through her? Those dreams she had? What if she was seeing Celine's point of view as to what happened to her, and the power of the abyss is keeping Celine's own curse alive? Man versus nature, letting it consume everything in its path. In Kat's room, you can find a book on the bookshelf titled Brown's Encyclopedia. Inside there are hidden items and a note written on the page that reads, "I have a visitor in my dream. She smiles and says her name is Celine. Don't be astonished to see me here. Time is not time, or it isn't that clear. We are such stuff of dreams are made on, and gather our courage before the dawn. Maybe we are all made of star stuff. We'll be together, and that is enough." On the other side of the book, there is a tape titled Lost Girls, a drawing of a crow, pins, and a crystal necklace. The crystal looks like it's turquoise, which represents wisdom, protection, and communication. Looking at the symbolism for the raven, it represents wisdom, prophecy, change, and death. Another belief about the raven is its connection to the dead, or the afterlife, how they can represent reincarnation, as they carry the souls of the dead. Given how the raven is Kat's symbol, this gives us another clue that Celine's soul is possibly connected to Kat. Whenever Kat mentions taking revenge or justice, something changes in her. Is it possible that Kat is being possessed by Celine through the abyss to carry out her revenge on anyone who decides to harm them? Another key scene that makes me think Celine is channeling through Kat was the scene at the abyss. Before Kat attacks Corey, she says this.
"You don't deserve anything! You're weak! You're nothing!"
What?
It was never about you. You're too pathetic.
This is about justice. For us!
As she's saying this, her eyes start to change, signaling the abyss is possessing her. Going back to Swan's anomaly tape, she states they are watching, they remember everything and nothing. As I discussed in the previous theory video, these shadow people are of Kat, Swan, and Corey as they fall into the abyss. But looking at the evidence that I presented, I feel like this is Celine and possibly her friends, her own coven of witches who lived in the cabin. Going back to the note written in Kat's book, Celine told her time isn't as it seems. Maybe there's a reason as to why the abyss kept Kat suspended in time for 27 years. Why Swan was so drawn to the abyss, and why Corey is still lurking. So what about the abyss? It's pretty clear that Celine opened the abyss as a way to escape, to get her own personal justice. Be it because she was hunted down for being a witch, or maybe because one of her own friends was hurt by someone. If time has no real hold on the story, then maybe this will lead us back to the real purpose of the abyss. of this curse. I hope you guys enjoyed my theory video on Lost Records Bloom and Rage. I am so excited for tape 3 to 6 whenever that is going to come out, because clearly they had plans to make this as a series, and I'm really happy about it because I didn't expect to love this game so much. But with that being said, I want to hear your thoughts. You have any theories of your own as to what the next game could be? Let me know in the comments. I would love to discuss this with you. And of course, if you guys want to see more from me when it comes to Lost Records, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell button and leave a like on this video because I want to know if you guys want more theory videos. I'll be happy to make some. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye!